Good afternoon from São Paulo. This is not really season 2 of Medical Doctor Travel yet, more like season 1.5. You remember when I was back in Rotterdam, I tried to meet with the people from the International Headache Society with whom, boa sorte no credenciamento, tchau. With whom I collaborated on a video for the migrant-friendly hostel, and yet I actually had some rather unfortunate problems, so that wasn't possible. So this year, on 2025, the meeting of the International Headache Society is being here in São Paulo at World Trade Center here. So naturally, it would have been extremely not courteous of me if I did not come to meet them here. So this is my second chance to actually get to meet these people and talk to them. I also met some friends down there at the food court, but they actually couldn't wait. I had to pick up my gimbal in my car, so I guess we'll meet again later. Okay, you just started a segue then, start in English, then I will switch to Portuguese. You remember how I said that down there at the food court I met some friends while having lunch here? Well, this is one of the positive sides of not having enough tables. At least you have like the credentials, so you meet other people who can have lunch here. And I told them they could show up in the video if they waited for me to go to the car to get the gimbal. But I don't blame them for not waiting. This place is absolutely labyrinthine. I took like 15 minutes to find the car. But I'm not here really acting on anything really planned. So I thought save my act as well. Consider I met Juliana here, who actually went to Johns Hopkins for a public health course.
The master degree.
So I decided, perhaps considering the possibilities we have here, do perhaps the first Portuguese spoken version of the Medical Education Podcast.
So I asked him because I feel more confident to speak in Portuguese, in my native language. So apologize, guys, but I do my best in Portuguese, right? Eu decidi estudar saúde pública na Johns Hopkins.
End of the first day, time to go to the apartment I rented. Albeit, I think I'm going to have dinner right here at the complex, at the food court, same place I had lunch, and whoever designed the floor plan for this place has a place in hell. Because it's, like I said, completely labyrinthine. All the elevators take to different places. So just like, take a look at this. Floors 3, 0, -1, and parking. Except there are floors like 1, 2, 4, and 5. And so and it's not like it's one elevator for floors 1 and 2 and another for 3 and 5. They're literally on opposite sides of the building. So you literally have to walk like 200, 300 meters to go from one elevator to the other. It's frankly a bit absurd. But so it is. End of the first day. This wasn't the best day to meet all the people I actually intended to meet for a pretty simple reason, which is that it's a joint event between the Brazilian and the International Headache Society. It makes sense, it's happening in Brazil. And so today was like mostly the Brazilian day, meaning that the presentations were in Portuguese and that the people I actually intended to meet were not speakers today. So, should be getting to the food court. I guess I'll get back to recording from my apartment. Really a travel influencer. I'm more of a medical influencer. But since I'm already here, why not diversify? The apartment I rented for about 240 reais in São Paulo. It's a pretty modern building, mostly impeccably clean, except for very small spots in the curtains, but rather small, very compact, but not much smaller than a hotel room, for example, would be. We are here on the 14th floor, so there should be a rather good view of the city. So we are at a pretty high floor, modern building, compact apartment for this place. I paid around 240 reais, or around, let's say, $40 a day in the city of São Paulo, but it was a rather good deal. Like I said, compact, small, but very akin to most hotel rooms, for example. The security is particularly impressive, and you can interpret it in both ways. And personally, I think they're both right. Just to enter here, you have to offer your documents and your name, and you have to get your credentials, and the person that talks to you is behind a possibly bulletproof glass there in the entrance. And then you go through two very heavy doors, and each of them has a facial recognition scan to verify if you are authorized to enter. And it looks pretty safe. And so on the positive side, it probably is safe. On the negative side, of course, you have to ask, why is all this necessary? We all know why it's necessary. So I believe both interpretations are right. I'm rather satisfied with the outcome. I actually had pretty complicated logistics here today, and it's quite surprising it all worked out well. Because, for example, I don't have a parking space here on this building, for example, so I actually parked my car on the event site, and I'm going to leave it there for 3 days. And I actually took an Uber to come here, for example, and I'll also take an Uber tomorrow to go there. So the logistics were somewhat complicated. I parked my car there and took the Uber here, and I hadn't seen the apartment yet. So a lot of things could have gone wrong, and none did. So actually, surprisingly positive outcome. Now I'll probably see you tomorrow. I don't see much reason to record anything else today. Would you like to say hello? So I did meet some of the people after all. So it's absolutely impossible to interview anyone here like this. Of course, I had actually met Deria in the elevator before, but I hadn't been already or anything.
Please send my friend those things.
That's my girlfriend.
Yes, it's a bit busy and loud here, so perhaps not the best place for it. Okay, I managed to steal a moment of the current president of the International Headache Society himself. So, this is Dr. Mario Perez. I've known you for a very long while as the president-elect of the International Headache Society. So, have you currently taken the place after Remy Burton? Currently, are you at this very moment
Yeah,
the
and
president?
in fact, it's going to be in one day, in 24 hours. But yeah, we're getting there. I must say that he's my professor, and I'm a bad student because I couldn't go further on the AI and the all the beautiful work that he's doing. So thanks for having me.
I thank Dr. Mario for his kind words. It was undoubtedly an interesting experience and outcome of events from Albert Einstein to Rotterdam, where I missed most people but did meet him indeed, and to here also. And regarding the AI things, for example, like I say, if you wait another year, it tends to get better.
Exactly. And how is it going now?
Well, personally, for example, I've been much better at integrating like real people into the images. So now it's much like easier to place like your actual face inside of an AI image. That's one of the points. Regarding anatomical accuracy, there's still some path to go here.
Okay, good.
And so what changed for you now?
All looking forward. All this work will change our lives. It's already changing big time. But yeah, the images are great, and I also like the art behind it because I heard that with AI art, you're not you don't have a pencil. You don't have you're not painting, but you are coding. You're using your words to paint. So this is really a nice concept.
And remember that I think it was like 2-3 weeks after we first met in person at Albert Einstein, you went straight to Saudi Arabia. I'm not sure whether Riyadh, I think.
Yeah.
So what's your current next step? I imagine you must be involved, for example, with the next International Headache Society conference.
Yes,
like
that's going to be in 2 years. We're gonna have initiatives in Seoul, South Korea. There's a meeting there, and then we have a big project in Kenya. So yeah, there's some work.
Is it set for Seoul, the next one? Do you have, like, just
the
the-
World Federation
the-
Neurology Congress is going to be in Seoul in March. But our meeting is going to be in 2 years.
Okay. Do you want to leave some message for, I don't know, potential medical students or?
Just keep up the good work. I think AI will revolutionize the imaging of the body and diseases, and yeah,
About
a lot of people will be able to learn about diseases and be
about the International Headache Society, for example. I know a thing that's very dear to our cluster headaches. So any, I don't know, upcoming projects or changes or anything about the society itself? I don't know, do you want to invite
maybe
people
just
to the
give an
society?
idea, you know? Just give an idea. Let's start doing something.
Well,
Really important.
I'm not going to hold you. You are the
pleasure.
current president of the conference, so I'm not going to take 5 minutes. I've already have. I've almost taken 5 minutes of your time, but it's been my pleasure. Third day of the event, despite the fact I'm at the parking lot, I did not drive here. Rather, I took a rather unorthodox approach. I'm using my car as a storage unit and I'm just asking for bom dia. And I'm just using Uber around here. So since I did not have a parking spot near the apartment I rented, I actually opted to just park my car here at the event venue and I just Uber in and out every day. Now at first it doesn't sound very practical, but it actually is for a single unit, for a single reason. Here we have like an underground complex underneath the event venue, and we have things like, for example, supermarkets and drugstores and it all. And I'm actually using them, despite the fact I'm not actually here, I'm not staying here. So what I actually do is that during breaks from the event, like the coffee breaks for example, I just go to the supermarket or to the drugstore or whatever I want to. Beneath here is actually not exactly in the event venue. It's more like, since this is a financial district, many of the buildings and places are connected underground. So it's really easy to walk from one to the other. And I just go buy whatever I need at the supermarket. I go back to my car, leave it stored there. And then when I'm leaving in the end of the day, I just go to my car and collect whatever I've left there. So it has been working surprisingly well. And yesterday we had the official opening of the event because, like I said, the previous day was more like the Brazilian chapter. So regarding the international headache conference, yesterday was like the first day. And so we had all like the Brazilian cliches. We had like samba and bossa nova and capoeira, and to some degree it is like slightly off-putting, like mostly all cliches. But let's be honest, that's essentially what some foreigner, someone who's never been here, is looking for. If I go, let's say, to Morocco, I want to see Moroccan architecture and I want to try Moroccan food, I'm not going to like the financial district to see how they do everything in the same way we do. So I totally understand. As a Brazilian, it's extremely weird to see it being presented like this, but it's definitely what people expect. I'm starting to think I should have chosen to record not in an elevator. Obrigado, bom dia. And so, 5th floor, the same labyrinthine layout from the other days. Now they've added some like brain sculptures and art installation, and I feel almost a bit like a video game because throughout the day we've been unlocking new areas. So they've opened specific places they hadn't before. The rooms up here, for example, credentials are already here on the first day, but the rooms have only been opened on yesterday. It's a venue of many advantages and disadvantages. This is like the plenary room. It's what they call, I think, the golden ballroom or something like that. But my point is, one of the disadvantages, for example, I already mentioned, the floor plan here is atrocious. To say it's confusing would be a colossal understatement. But on the positive side, I said the connectivity to nearby stores and places, it's really easy to get to them all. Underneath here, there's ample underground connection to other stores, to other places. Now, another disadvantage, I had already been here before on another event. I had already noticed it, and it pretty much stays the same. Can you see? Look at the ceiling. It's a really large dome above us, some kind of metal dome. And you can see that it really continues that way. And this is not a wall, this is like cloth. So I'm going to cross the separation here and you're going to see what I mean. You can see the ceiling remains the same, and you cross the tissue wall there, and here we are at the exhibitors area. So the problem I actually see with this is that it's actually absolutely not soundproof. So while we are in the plenary session, you can absolutely hear what people are talking here, or the espresso coffee machines working, for example. And that's exactly why they put like headphones in there, so you can actually hear what people are saying. Personally, I think it's a somewhat uncomfortable compromise, because I have no problem with wearing my own headphones, but of course the headphones are going to provide you 400, 600, 2,000 people there are not going to be the most comfortable models. They will be pretty generic headphones, so having them on ear for 2-3 hours is a bit time. I really wish they could soundproof it somehow. I've been here, like I said, some 8 years before, and it still had the same problem. The unusual has taken a turn for the surreal. Can you see there are like 3 different podiums there on the presentation floor? That's because they've been having 3 different presentations at the same time. Remember how I said that this is just cloth, and I consider it rather suboptimal because you can actually hear the espresso machines and the people talking right there. On the other side, well, they went way further than that. They actually divided this room into 3 rooms without actually dividing it. So you just get some headphones, and depending on whom you want to hear, you put the audio channel, or rather the frequency of the device you want to hear. And they kind of pre-made it, so the devices are already set based on where you sit in the room, but there's absolutely no division at all. And I hate it. Because, like I said before, on other occasions, I've mentioned there, for example, in the last conference in Rotterdam, that I feel more and more like there has to be a reason to go to conferences. Nowadays, most of the presentations are basically a spoken paper. And so it would be so easy and practical to just publish a video to YouTube, for example, rather than actually joining together in a room. So more and more nowadays, I see conferences as an opportunity to rather just meet people and talk to them. And that is exactly the opposite of it. A large part of a meeting is just like talking to the person beside you and saying, hey, did you hear what she said? I don't entirely agree with that, for example. And yet here you are very isolated. You are wearing headphones and the person to your side may not even be hearing through the same lecture. So why not just make it a YouTube video? Now, of course, if you just turn the entire conference into something remote, online, then you have to find new ways to monetize it, because it's hard to charge like $300 for access to an online content. If you just make it available on YouTube, people are not going to pay for it. So perhaps you should go more like the event route, double down meeting people and not so much on the lectures. I'm not really sure. But that particular experience with having headphones, I'm not even going to mention it's not exactly hygienic, because you just pick the headphones from the place where you're sitting and other people have used it before you. But irrespective of that, you are so isolated when hearing the conference, you might as well just be watching a video. And so that was an original idea and one I cannot fully back. Now, you know something I do really like? This map, where you get to pick. I am going to do it. I wasn't going to do it because plenty of Brazilians have done it already. And you just place it where you are from. This is extremely interesting because think about all the histories here. I am extremely curious about all these people. For example, I'm going to Panama to film season 2 of Medical Doctor Travels. Spoiler alert. So I'd love to know who that person is. I would love to know, for example, who are the people coming from rather uncommon countries. Who is the delegate from Yemen, for example? I'm actually rather curious. And so I had a lot of complaints and suggestions. I had some amount of quarrels with the VR conference in Rotterdam, but one of the things I really like about them, I think they did really right, was the app. Because their app allowed you to see not only the speakers, but also all of the delegates. So you could pretty much, of course, you have to make that information public. They're not going to dox you, but you can make that information public. And so if that was the case here, I'm thinking I'm not going to the room, it will be too noisy there. If that was the case here, I could, for example, just look who is the medical doctor from Panama that's currently here, for example, and then perhaps I could go talk to him and her and try to meet there. As it is right now, we can get to see the speakers, but not really all of the delegates. So that's something I said I thought Rotterdam VR conference did really well, and that's something I would love to see implemented at other conferences. The ability to search the delegates, at least the ones who have consented to it, according to country, for example. If I want to know who is attending from a specific country I might have an interest in, for example, that would be really great. But I think that map is a great step in the right direction.
like now, I'm so glad that I saw Marcelo in Valença starting on Instagram. You should all follow. It's so great, and we should all do it. I mean, I have to tell, it's really, I mean, annoying sometimes to keep posting. And actually, in the past months, because of the Congress and the start of my term, I was like, no, I'm not working for Instagram, no, for the past 2 months. But yeah, but more than that, I think illustrators, is it Ricardo around, like, Ricardo is such a good AI artist and a physician, so we can manage to bring more, images, new images, create like, a lot more models, and how the kids are now studying medicine. They have 3D, like 360 vision of things. It's completely different when in the Cenozoic area, when the dinosaurs are alive. And I studied, like you had to, you didn't have a lot of resources in terms of imaging. So, yeah, it's I totally agree. We have to work with non-physicians and explore, or try to bring artists, everybody to the field. So that's why the awareness campaigns like the Brain Parade and many others are important.
By the way, I need to thank to Ricardo. I have recognized him lately. He was the mentor of our migraine-friendly
Stand up,
hospital
Ricardo.
projects. He did everything, all the projects.
This guy is like an AI
Yes.
artist. He's a physician. You have to. What's your Instagram again?
RBM_M. Okay, thank you. Is it working? Can you hear?
Yeah.
This is really great. Well, thank you once again to both Dr. Mario and Dr. Deria. It's a huge honor. I definitely did not expect to give any tiny speech here. My Instagram is at RBM_MG, like rat, ball, mall day. It's been a great pleasure to work with them. We worked together on the migrant-friendly hostel campaign, and it was definitely a great experience, and it's a big part of why I'm here today. I developed some kind of like personal friendship for these people, and it's undoubtedly admirable, like the commitment. For example, Dr. Mario has indeed started his Instagram, and I'm aware that Dr. Deria, for example, is 1 to 2 orders of magnitude larger than me. Not 1 to 2 times, 1 to 2 orders of magnitude larger on social media. So they are undoubtedly very committed to social media, and it's really a privilege to play a part. But I have to thank you for the mention. It's been an honor.
Thank you. Daria just told me she has 500,000 followers. I'll never reach that.
Then you can. But I understand that you have to be everywhere. I mean, you have to be on TV, you have to be on newspaper, you have to be on social media. In this case, you increase the numbers. I mean, you have the influence to public. To be, how can I say, to say the real things, we have to be there. Otherwise, somebody says silly things. So we have to work on it.
Okay, so this is literally recording, and so here I have with me Deria, which if you don't know her, it's because you are not from Turkey. She's like a major celebrity there, at least from the medical point of view. I had the huge honor of being cited.
Just quote me.
Power.
As always, you know.
I had the huge honor of being cited by her and by Dr. Mario during their presentation. And like I said in my thank you speech, which I did not prepare because I had no idea they were going to say something like that, I mentioned she is between 1 and 2 orders of magnitude larger than me. Like on Instagram, I have 70,000 followers. She has like 400,000.
More than 500.
More?
Come on.
500?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess you have 400 on YouTube.
Okay.
On your,
Yeah.
okay, so I missed for the upper mark on one of them and for the lower mark on the other. But she's like a major celebrity, a medical celebrity in Turkey. It's a pity, I can't really understand what you say. Have you considered doing like English translations, like hiring a service, for example? Well, like personally, I don't speak Turkish, for example. So when I searched for you, but perhaps with your site you could already get access to like the multiple track audio. So you can request and then you can upload your video in Turkish, but perhaps even either.
I admire you. How you do these things.
Well, I would say you were the more experienced one here.
I made this
Usually-
I'm not
all
experienced.
different
You are the
red
most
flags from
experienced
headaches.
one.
I
I try
will
to do
be
my best, but
giving a
great
webinar
job.
about secondary headaches also.
Thank you. Usually,
I search.
yes,
And I follow you.
Oh, thank you.
equally. It's been a pleasure.
Next time, let's see where we are gonna meet. Ainur, come here.
Yes, absolutely. To show up in the video event. Oops.
Hi.
It's harder to get
Hi,
motivation.
Rio. I'm from the IFC 2025 in Sao Paulo. And we are happy to be here, you know. We are happy to join with you.
It's been my pleasure. I am sorry I missed you in Rotterdam, but I'm glad it actually happened that this year's international conference has been in São Paulo. Didn't have the gimbal ready, didn't bring it here. Interesting, no one around here. Maybe because it's windy, I don't know. This is the rooftop, the solarium of the building. It's actually pretty decent, nice looking, no one around. Like I said, maybe because it's pretty windy and the airport, Congonhas, the smaller one here in São Paulo, it's pretty close nearby. You can see the airplanes landing there. Last day here, about to leave for the conference. Now from one last time, about to leave the apartment, check out from it, so to speak. And in a retrospective view, I think I was slightly over optimistic because in the end, the apartment's not bad, but the shower was not very hot. I couldn't really get it warm. It was like decent, and in the 4 days I stayed here, I couldn't get the local internet to work a single time. I spent these 4 days using just my cell phone internet, and yet for the price and for the conditions, it is a new apartment, it is pretty decent. And so off we are for the last day. My great pleasure. Whichever you prefer. If you want to walk, we can walk to wherever you want to
Maybe
do.
we can walk around our poster.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They actually-
You can see lots of the young junior member and senior member, amazing presentations and amazing studies shared with us, and future of the migraine is here, in my opinion. Yeah, there's outstanding studies presented here, and we have two poster walk sessions, and always engage very well, and people like to visit here. Some of them also wrapping up, and others are here. And this meeting, can you imagine how many abstracts we had?
I would guess like 400. Am I too off?
Up,
Up. 700.
up.
1100.
It's more than, it's totally 890, but regarding to reviewer committee, and then we accepted 826 abstracts. This is the highest ratio of the ISC meeting till now.
It's a lot. I gave my original ballpark of like 400 because I know there are probably between 2,000 and 3,000 people here now. So-
2,400 registration we have. This is also another highest number of the ISC history. We have several steps. The first ISC meeting in Latin America, highest number of the attendees, highest number of the abstracts.
It's
We
a
are
great
happy.
outcome. Had you
Yeah.
been involved with other editions of the International Headache Conference before? Yes.
Last 20 years, each International Headache Society meetings, and almost each, maybe one or two skip, I'm not sure, but each European Headache Federation meetings I involved. In my opinion, these are the best. Of course, I am not objective, a little bit subjective, because of, I am a part of this team, and for this reason maybe a little bit subjective, but race and numbers is real.
Yes,
Figures didn't lie.
it's absolutely great. I saw that the next one is probably going to be in Athens. Is that it?
Athens, yeah,
Yes.
Greece. In my opinion, maybe Athens registration rate will much more than ours. Why? Because in the September and Athens and good weather and the easy connection. For
Yes.
this reason, probably this rate will be more than ours.
For Europe and Asia, it's much closer.
Yeah.
And for you, because for you it's pretty
Of course,
pretty
in
close to
Turkey,
home.
I can swim, even swim.
Do you want to stay put here, or do you want to walk towards wherever you want to be? Like, do you want to get some food?
I
or
like to engage food court now.
Okay,
And,
absolutely. We can go if it's not a problem for you. Oops, sorry.
Okay.
I almost hit you with it.
Okay.
So you are the scientific co-chair of
Yeah,
this
I am.
event. So were you're involved evidently with the selection of the abstracts for the posters?
Yes, we also attended several committee, reviewer committee, and each abstract evaluated by the reviewer independent, also ranked independently, and depending on the range of the abstract and the committee report, we decided which one will be selected as oral presentation and which one selected as the digital poster or the printed poster. We also evaluated the regulation and the balance distribution of the junior, senior, and the country-based, continent-based station. Always care about the other issues in our decision.
I'm not sure whether it was you who said this in your talk or whether I heard it on some other talk, mentioning, for example, that on this event you have like 20% of juniors or something like that.
Definitely.
I think it was your talk
Definitely.
about how you try to balance
Because
this.
of the juniors, our meeting atmosphere and energy is so high. Our energy is so high because of the number of the juniors. It's very important. Juniors have to attend this kind of meetings so much, and then they have to get interact with the seniors and creating new network, and they should be a part of the this energy, this atmosphere. Otherwise, science couldn't develop. Yeah, I should leave. I should leave, and I'm
Okay.
very happy to be part of your work. Bye.
Well, it was my pleasure being at your event and having you in my video.
Thank you. Thank you for
A
your
pleasure,
invitation
a pleasure meeting you.
and associating me. Thank you.
This is IHC 2025 closing ceremony. For the first time we were able to attract 2,400 people. It is novel for us to bring such a large number of people.
Because to beat this one is going to be very, very difficult.
And so it ends. The ending of congresses and conferences is always a bit sad, kind of like the end of a trip in large amount, because you know we're not going to see most of the people you've met for many years, if ever again, at least in person. And besides, it's always a weird feeling because contrary to the opening ceremony, usually people don't just go all at once it's over. People have their flights, and so that they start leaving one by one, up to the point it starts getting empty and a bit eerie looking, kind of how it is now. But I believe that's a larger part of how it works. And it was indeed an interesting experience. I did get to meet all the people I came here to meet. And let's see, in December we'll have the actual season 2 of Medical Doctor Travels. Goodbye.